Well, good afternoon, everybody. The H1B Guy here, and today is another H1B Guy live Q&A, where we're going to cover some of the latest in employment-based immigration, including some continued conversation around the EAGLE Act of 2021, visa bulletin rumors for July 2021 and beyond, and also talk about the end of the H1B lottery filing period. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube and like this video so that I can continue to produce more content like this for you. I also wanted to mention the H1B Guy offers a variety of consulting services. I help businesses and individuals solve complex work authorization issues in the recruitment process while bringing awareness to employment-based immigration benefits. If I can help you, please reach out. I'd love to hear how. Today's live stream is brought to you by RecruiterNetworks.com, the smart solution for digital perm ads and local job board postings since 2001. And also by Path to Canada. Path to Canada provides an ideal plan B for high-skilled immigrants currently located in the U.S. whose status may be uncertain. If you're facing an OPT expiration or H-1B denial, don't get caught off guard. Make sure you have a plan B, and Path to Canada is your answer. Well, before we start, I wanted to wish my wife, who probably will never watch this live stream, a very happy 14th anniversary. We have just been so incredibly busy over the last several weeks, both personally and professionally. We really haven't had a chance to take some time off, and looking forward to doing that in about a month or so. But I just wanted to say, love you, babe. Thank you for always putting up with me. I also wanted to mention a big milestone here on the H1B Guy platform, which is a couple of days ago, back on June 13th. I had my Twitterversary. So it was 1 year ago on June 13th that I signed up for some of my social media accounts. And actually yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the H1B Guy LLC. And I'd registered the H1BGuy.com as well on June 13th of 2020. Of course, the anniversary of the platform and the launch really of the H1B Guy is June 29th. So I don't really have anything planned yet. Most likely we'll do a live stream because I love having you join me here and jumping in these live streams where we do these Q&As. We have conversations and discussions around each of your individual situations. And if you have questions, comments, it's hard to believe that, I've been at this a year, and I can tell you that the growth that's been going on here for the H1B Guy platform, for my consulting practice, for the views on the website and here on YouTube. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really just appreciate all of your support, all the interaction, and all of the communications that we've had. So really looking forward to the next few weeks of celebrating, the 1 year milestone here on the H1B Guy platform. Yeah. Hey, thank you. I really appreciate it. I will say kacha, if you will. Congrats and happy anniversary. Congrats on the H1B Guy happy anniversary to me and my wife. I'll tell you, we're parents, so you've heard me talk about my kids a few times. I don't really get into the personal stuff here much, but I wanted to share that with you all here today. This is hard. What we do, life, marriage, kids, work, my gosh, is it hard. And, I'm not a high-skilled immigrant, and add that to what you guys live and work with on a daily basis. And, it's just crazy. The other thing that I wanted to hit on, and I think a lot of you have been really feeling this, and man, has the job market ever been hotter at any time in you guys' career? As a technology recruiter first, it just is crazy what the job market is like. I can imagine that some of you that have some very niche skills. I'm talking to you Java architects, solution architects that are out there, the latest and greatest full stack developers, right? I mean, I'm imagining you're probably looking at 25 to 100 different touches a week in terms of recruitment. Think about that. There's all this information out there. It said April had the highest resignation rate, something like 2.7%. We're continuing to see that we've had these never again moments, kind of through this whole COVID crisis. And I think that now you're seeing employers who cut deep, or now as we come out of the thawing of the ice, as my friend Richard Allman from Recruiter Networks likes to say, we're really seeing the job market just explode. And so I'm helping a couple of clients right now. You may have noticed that my posting schedule here on this channel has been a little bit off. I'm really trying to get content at least 3 out a week for you. The last few weeks, that's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Actually, if you notice the news, I didn't even get it out until Saturday just because of everything that's been coming on and going on in my personal and professional life. So, hey, Syed, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks for jumping in here this afternoon. Just glad to have you join us here as always. Hey, my good friend Samir, how are you? I know you and your beautiful bride celebrated an anniversary not too long ago as well. So, thank you so much for jumping in here today. Just really so glad to join you guys, and really excited that, coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the H1B Guy platform here. I wanted to jump into the Eagle Act. I covered this in the news back on June 4th, the H1B Guy news for the week ending June 4th. And then I did a standalone post where I covered the section by section breakdowns that were put out on Lofgren.gov. So Representative Zoe Lofgren's domain website, where she put out a PDF I thought that really was very helpful in breaking down the Eagle Act and kind of what we can expect. And so, since that text has come out, there's been so many rumors about, well, who's going to sponsor it in the Senate? When should we expect it to be heard on the House floor? And there's just a lot of speculation out there. Samir, thank you so much for the super chat, man. You're such a huge supporter of what I do here on this platform, and you're a personal friend. And, I think that I would have never had an opportunity to get introduced to somebody like you had I not bet on myself here, a year ago, and decided to dive into the deep end here with the H1B Guy platform. Really the H1B Guy media, the H1B Guy consulting services. And so thank you so much, Samir. Many blessings to you and your family. Just thank you so much. If you're looking to support the H1B Guy platform, you can do so right now on this live stream, through the super chat function. If you're watching this video at a later date, you could do so through buymeacoffee.com/the H1B Guy. If you enjoy this content that I put out, any of the super chats or support contributions that I received through buymeacoffee.com/the H1B Guy are all put back into the H1B Guy platform and the technology here that I utilize to bring this content to you. Definitely going to be working on the website at some point in the next few months to give it a little bit of a refresh. I don't know when and if that will be put out, but hopefully that'll be sometime in the very near future. So thank you guys so much for your support, and just really appreciate that, just from the bottom of my heart. What I thought was really interesting, back to the Eagle Act, is I read some rumors about it not seeing the light of day in the Senate. And, the thing that really irritates me about that is, if you look at S386, and while it was a unanimous consent decision that took place in the Senate, if you look at everything that kind of led up to that December vote that happened in the Senate at gosh, 5:30 p.m. on a very random early December day. And we celebrated, right? We celebrated, but then it became very clear that this was a play, right? This was a play for the Senate to basically hit that bill back to the House of Representatives, where it had a lot of amendments that, ultimately I think we knew we wouldn't see that the House approve of. But what I do like about the Eagle Act in its current form, HR 3648, is that it hits on a lot of the things that S386 incorporated with H1B reform and clearing the green card backlog. I know that there's a lot of anti-individuals already that have come out and speaking out against the Eagle Act, but we've got some pretty prominent voices that have come out and spoke in favor of it. My best guess right now is that if it does see discussion, debate on the House floor, that would most likely happen sometime in the next 60 days. So we're probably looking at a July timeframe. Is my guess, probably mid end of July, maybe even early August. And so it is going to have a Senate sponsor. I've alluded to the fact that I would assume that Senator Mike Lee from Utah, who was, Senate Bill S386's co-sponsor, along with our current Vice President, Kamala Harris, around the Fairness for High-Skilled Immigrants Act that came out of the Senate. I'm hopeful that we see some bipartisan sponsorship introduction here for the Eagle Act. But definitely, if you all out there hear anything, please keep me posted on it. I'm just really curious to see how it's going to play out over the next few weeks, because right now, as I continue to read the tea leaves, it just doesn't feel like we're going to get the reform that we were hoping for in 2021, which is such an odd play, I think, for the Biden administration. They really had a big opportunity to win the hearts and minds of high-skilled immigrants. And instead, what they have done is kind of move very slowly in terms of rescinding and making a lot of policy and manual changes via USCIS news releases. And that's a great way to play it. I mean, I think, we look at what the deputy director or director of DHS, Ali Mayorkas, has done, and sort of the interim deputy director for USCIS, Tracy Renaud, what they've done. I think we've seen some common sense policy updates going back to several of the memos and releases that we've seen that have come out over the last couple of months. So we'll definitely keep our eyes on that, and just wanted to say that I still believe that this piece of legislation has the highest probability for immigration reform that we've seen. I mean, we were very close with reform surrounding S386, HR 1044, that died, really in 2020, beginning of this year. But here we are, kind of a boomerang back. The thing that I love about the Eagle Act is it has that bipartisan approach, the way it goes about clearing the backlog. It has the 50-50 rule. It has the increased investigation rights, for DHS and ICE. So hopefully we'll see some traction very soon, sometime really in the next 45 to 60 days. So, hey, Duganini, I apologize. Tongue's a little tied this afternoon. Yeah, let's talk about this. I mean, I think the biggest bomb that we saw last week were the rumors that started circulating around the July visa bulletin, with dates that were already rumored to be published, talking specifically about India dates for India EB2 final action, June 1st, 2011. And then EB3 India final action dates of January 1st 2013. Of course, I on the H1B Guy forecast for July 2021 said April 1st, 2011 for EB2. Of course, really conservative and under in the EB3 category. Where I believe I said February of 2012. What would be interesting here is, we're looking at a year of movement in final action India EB3 if this were to be the date, meaning the January 1st, 2013. All along, Charlie Oppenheim has talked about his expectation of final action dates to meet dates of filing from the October 2020, but I would say really the December 2020 visa bulletin. Back in June, we saw dates of filing advance for India EB3, which I think is a sign. I know a lot of you out there have done extensive calculations on the spillover numbers, the usage numbers, but I think the biggest unknown here is what is the impact of the downgrades. And I think that we've seen some really rapid acceleration if these rumors are correct about July, rapid acceleration surrounding the EB3 dates, and then we potentially could see some dates go back and pause. I don't think personally we're going to see retrogression. I don't believe that. But again, I think we're all within our right, as we've seen over the years, to not get too comfortable. I think that's really, to me, the biggest thing is you just can't get too comfortable here with the way the dates are moving. There's been a lot of excitement around it. I think we're seeing some very historic movement, which is really exciting to see, especially when you're talking about the spillover allotment of 262,000 this year for employment-based preferences, 290,000. A lot of that, though, is around the questions and creates questions around, are they going to be able to process and adjudicate the cases? I don't know. Charlie alluded to, he didn't think that was going to be the case around the same time last year, and then USCIS ramped up their efforts to make sure that the numbers were utilized. But he still has alluded to the fact that he still expects there to be a 10%, kind of similar to fiscal year 2020, where there was still a 10% unused number. So Samir says, although U.S. immigration system treats us weird and unfair, trust me, Robert, it's folks and friends like you that make me trust the concept of the U.S., and this is a small gesture. Yeah, thank you, Samir. I think, we got to talk about these things, man. Hey, Shashank, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. Thanks for jumping in the stream today. Is the July visa bulletin ever going to get posted? Let's see. I guessed that we're looking at Thursday, the 18th as the release date. But today is the 16th, so that would be the 17th technically. So oops. And then Tuesday of next week, possibly, as the other option. So, and then my third option was next Thursday. So again, the 17th, the 22nd or 24th, although I have the 18th written, I had a bunch of little small errors, and I'm going to try to tighten that up for next month's forecast. Unfortunately, those things do happen in a one-man band like me. But I think you're probably, Shashank, to answer your question, starting tomorrow, you're probably looking at sometime between tomorrow and then in the next 7 days. Very rarely have they released those bulletins on Monday. So if it doesn't happen tomorrow or Friday, you're probably looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of next week. So I hope that helps. But I think a lot of people are anxiously awaiting what those numbers are going to look like. I know I am. And when that comes out, I'll be sure we'll put out the H1B Guy grades to see how I did, which I have a feeling it's going to be another low percentage this month based on some of the rumors that are circulating. I got another question on the YouTube channel that was asking me about China, which I don't get a chance to talk about a whole lot. And it asked me about what are my predictions for China EB2 for July and August. And, when I look at dates of filing, or excuse me, when I look at final action dates for China from June's bulletin, we're May 1st, 2017 for EB2. And so, when I look at kind of the movement that's been happening there, I mean, it's been pretty consistent with China EB2, some up, some down. I'm thinking probably looking at something towards the end of 2017. I said November 2017, so probably November or December 2017. And then, ultimately, after that, I mean, when you go back and look at where the dates of filing are for China, which is kind of the tell, right? You're at January 1st, 2018. So my thoughts are, if you look at the end of 2017, for EB2 for July, another 5 to 6 months for August, would put you in May, June, July of 2017, or excuse me, 2018. So listen, that's going to get you right to the dates of filing. Maybe it doesn't creep up that much. Maybe it's 2 or 3 months. So if you get to May of 2017, May, June of 2017, for July's bulletin, maybe another 3 or 4 months for August bulletin, for EB2 China would put you in, September of 2017, maybe October 2017. And then, of course, with the September bulletin meeting that dates of filing for China EB2 right now, which is listed as January 1st, 2018. So just to kind of recap that question for EB2 China that I received on the YouTube channel, again, looking at probably May, June 2017 for July, and then, September, October for August, and then, for September 2021's bulletin, getting to that January 1st, 2018 date. And honestly, I'm just basing that, a lot of that off of what we've been hearing come from Charlie. I mean, the horse's mouth, right? This is the guy that has the insight and intel and all of the analytics into moving forward the bulletin every month. And, I will tell you, and I say this a lot, I continue to be impressed every time I watch him. I mean, his uncanny ability to reel off some of this data is just, it's unbelievable. So, Syed says, I think there will be movement in dates of filing too by around 4 to 5 months. So think about that then, Syed, if that's right, if we're thinking that July and August may see dates of filing numbers move up, what you have to think about is when dates of filing numbers move forward, as Charlie said many times, he is looking into the future by 8 to 12 months. And that assumes that in 8 to 12 months from that movement of those dates of filing, that final action dates will be current for those categories. So, Syed, this is definitely something for us to keep our eyes on, and I think it'll provide some good intel going into the bulletins, really leading into this October 2021 bulletin, which, I don't know if there's been a bulletin that will have more interest and more hype than this one ever, historically speaking. And that isn't to build it up and create interest. But I will tell you that that I really believe that based on the constant communication and questions and comments that I receive. Hey, Shashank, glad to help, man. I don't know, what do you think? Are you sitting there waiting for it to come in? But yeah, I think again, sometime in the next 7 days, we should definitely see the bulletin posted. So, hey, Rom, how are you? So good to see you, my friend. Love some of your posts on LinkedIn and the cool work that you're doing, man. Just really cool to see all that happening. Will priority date retrogress by October 2021 if there's going to be a wastage of green cards by USCIS? I mean, USCIS really cannot handle this load of applications. Yeah, I think that's very clear if you look at the downgrade cases and the folks that have done biometrics, who have gone through all of that through specifically the Nebraska Center, I believe is the one that has some pretty significant weights and lack of communication. So again, I think the hope here is that they've got 2 months really to make this happen here, Rom, and can they do it? And I'll tell you, when you're looking at 38,000 to 50,000, somewhere in that range of downgrades that happened in October and November. You look at a lot of folks right now who over the last couple of months have been working and thinking about and talking to their employer and their immigration attorneys about downgrading now in preparation of the dates of filing really moving forward significantly in the October 2021 bulletin. So, Rom, here's what I'll say. I don't believe that there's going to be any retrogression for the October 2021 visa bulletin at all across the board in all categories. I will say, though, that if you go back to, I believe it was the Chats with Charlie episode 2, where he talks about specifically aggressive movement into the beginning of fiscal year 2022 and then potentially tapering off and slowing down. He didn't mention retrogression, but he did mention that he expects some of the slowdown. Now, that information was before he said that there were going to be 290,000 employment-based visas available. So definitely we'll keep our eyes on this, but for right now, I don't expect any retrogression. Congrats and happy anniversary from Rom. Have a great one. Thanks, man. Again, I hope you're doing well and just appreciate you joining me today for your lunch hour. Hey, Suraj, nice to see you. Thanks for jumping in today. Do you think dates of filing will reach January 2018 by October 2021 for India? I don't think that you'll see that kind of movement for either India EB2 or India EB3. I think right now, what we're looking at is most likely for me, I'm into the 2013 some time frame. I'm going to say June, July 2013 for India EB2. EB3, again, right now we're at 2014. So I'm thinking more mid-end of 2015, maybe beginning middle of 2016. India EB3 right now has been the absolute toughest for me to gauge based on the downgrades and based on the rapid movement. It's like those two things aren't really going hand in hand, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't think you're going to see 2018 for October 2021 for either EB2 or EB3 preference. So Suraj, hope that doesn't come as bad news. I think it's probably something that you're expecting anyway, but I've been surprised before. Hey, Nupur, thank you for joining me this afternoon on your lunch break. If EB2 priority date is current in the EB3 final action date chart, can a person directly downgrade file concurrent I-140 and 485 using final action date chart? You can file concurrently when you downgrade. I believe that's absolutely, you can hold both EB2 and EB3s and file concurrently. I think the biggest thing here, and there's been a lot of speculation around using premium processing to do your I-140 downgrade. In this situation, I may advise you to go for the premium processing. I've been seeing some chatter and some rumors lately of folks that have been getting their approvals using the premium processing upgrade. So maybe that's something that you may want to consider here in these situations for you specifically here, Nipur. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, you can drop it back down in the chat for clarification. Hey, Raj Mira, nice to see you. Thanks for jumping in today. What is the reason that legal immigration is the least priority of U.S. Congress? They are happy to bring bills for illegal immigrants, but keep quiet about fixing the legal path. Yeah, I agree. And here's what I'll tell you, Raj. Money. There's your answer. It always comes down to dollar bills, man. Just does. The lobbyists, the big tech, the influencers. Yeah, that's why. It's all about money, man. That is what makes what I talk about here so polarizing. Is that there are folks like you who make a lot of money as a high skilled immigrant, but then there's employers and other individuals who make a lot of money off of you as high skilled immigrants too. It's a mutual benefit, but at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to: money and control. I've been a very pro merit-based immigration system advocate because I think it provides a freedom of choice. It provides competitive advantages for all candidates. It eliminates the cheap labor debate. So I'll keep talking about it. Hopefully it's not falling on deaf ears, but at some point in my life, before I no longer am breathing, I sure would love to see a merit-based points immigration system here in the U.S. Hey, VR Bathini, how are you? How about EB2 December 2013? Will it move this fiscal year? I think you're going to be the beginning of next year, but you're right in the sweet spot. I mean, you literally, I'm going to go out on a very short limb here. And I think a lot of you out there that are watching this now or in the future will agree with me, but I have to imagine here, VR, that your dates of filing are going to be current in October 2021. So get prepared. Hope you're ready. Congrats when you get there. Look forward to celebrating you with you when that day comes in the middle end of September, where you see those dates and you know that you're now current for dates of filing. It's awesome. A lot of you like that. I know so many folks that are 2011, 12, 13, 14 that didn't downgrade, that have been waiting now for about a year for these numbers to move. Good thing is we're seeing that aggressive movement. Hey, my good friend Chetan, how you doing? So nice to see you. Thanks for joining me here this afternoon. Are there any rumors about second lottery for H1B, and when could we hear official news if yes? Great question, and that was on the agenda to cover today. So going to just kind of pivot right into that, which is to say, for a lot of you out there, you already know June 30th, 2021 is the deadline. USCIS must receive any new H1B petitions from the petitioners, employers, on behalf of the beneficiaries that were selected electronically via random selection. They were notified that they could begin submitting their petitions starting in April 1st through June 30th. I've seen a lot of chatter out there about the possibility of 2,000 to 5,000 unused. I did a video a couple of months ago, which I know a lot of you have checked out, is will there be a second H1B lottery? I'm actually going to do a shorter update post to that tomorrow, based on some of the new data that's come out confirming the total number of requests. The thing that I will say, as I said, I don't think so, but maybe in that video, and that I went on to say, I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again, but right now I think the answer is no. But maybe that maybe sure feels a lot stronger right now. It just does for some reason. And so to answer your question about the official news, again, with June 30th being the deadline, I think you're looking at something that would be towards the end of July, where employers' petitioners would be notified. Selections would most likely happen in the end of July, beginning of August. What they would do is once they notify those selections, they're going to give those petitioners 90 days to submit the petition. So I think you're probably looking at anywhere between August 1st to September 1st would be when that notification would go out, granting petitioners the opportunity then to submit those that were selected in the second lottery for H1B approval. So, hey, Chetan, I hope that helps. Really appreciate you taking the time to join in and ask a question. I just wanted to mention, if you haven't already, please like this video. It helps get out the algorithm here in YouTube for the live streams. If you're looking for ways that you can support the H1B Guy platform, you can do so right now during this live stream through the Super Chat function. If you are watching this at a later time and you're looking for ways to support the H1B Guy platform, you can do so through buymeacoffee.com/the H1B Guy. I want to give a shout out to my good friend Seisha for supporting me a few weeks ago. Just thank you guys so much. Every little bit that you do contribute to the platform helps to me to reinvest in the technology and the production of the content that I put out here on this channel and on the H1BGuy.com. So just thank you guys so much for your support. Syed says, I don't know why they're taking lots of time to renew H4s. I mean, golly, the H4 EAD delays are so painful to see and bear witness to. I know many of you have watched the video I did with my friends Keely and Divya talking about, their loss of freedom, loss of job, loss of dignity. But it's just it's crazy. It took a lawsuit to get this ramped up. So we'll see what happens here with the H4 delays. Hopefully it seems like, USCIS is well aware of their processing delays and they seem to be picking it up. But again, that's one of those things where these delays and the impact and what they mean for now and into the foreseeable future is it's disgusting. And honestly, it's a reason why we electronic filing across the board, not just for the I-765s, but for the I-129s as well. Electronic filing is going to help automate the adjudication process. And that's going to help high-skilled immigrants like each and every one of you who are joining in on this live stream and watching here today. If you're an employer or an employee, what do you want? You want resolution as fast as possible. How can we do that? We can automate, right? We can automate the electronic filing process. And hopefully, with this administration and the way they're handling things, hopefully we're going to see some of that improvement going forward. Right now, as I've said, the first 100 days were a little bit underwhelming, but we're seeing more activity, more conversation, more discussion. Hey, Monisha, thank you for joining. How much time does it take for the perm? It's been 1 month since we filed. We have approved I-140. Ooh, the perms. If you're filing a new perm labor, these are the ones that are really taking a lot of time right now, just kicking off the perm. If you think about everything that goes into getting perm labor certified, right? The prevailing wage determinations right now are taking historic turnarounds. Some of the longest turnarounds on prevailing wage determination requests for perm labor ever. And then, the posting periods, the quiet periods, everything that goes into that, 6-9 months into it. And then you're looking at the approvals, which generally were anywhere between 3 to 6 months, now taking 6 months, if not longer. And I think that's just going to continue, Monisha. The great news is that you already have the approved I-140. It looks like you're most likely porting over your previous priority date. Hopefully, there was a material change, either an employer or work site, and thus the reason to file a new perm. But hopefully you won't get caught in a weird gap where your perm is pending and your priority date comes current and your new perm hasn't been recertified. I think that's a fear of a lot of folks who are interested or looking to change employers and aren't doing so because of that weird gap and how quickly the dates have moved. You're almost being held hostage, not only by the employer, but by the visa bulletin and the processing times around that. It's really weird. Hey, Napur, thank you. No problem. Glad to help you. Syed says, today I saw the new DHS head was talking about getting lots of immigration lawyers on board for suggestion. Also consider taking opinion from those in India stuck in the backlog or people like you, Robert. If the director of the Department of Homeland Security wants to have a conversation with me, I'd love to do that. It'd be my honor and privilege, because what I would tell him is that I have clients right now that have more jobs than they can fill because those jobs aren't open to high-skilled immigrants. Think about that. We talk about February 2021 IT job postings, computer occupation postings. For February 2021, over 1 million postings. Now, granted, some of that is inflated because there's duplicates and staffing firms that are posting those jobs, same jobs, different job descriptions or whatever. But unemployment in IT is 3.5%. Open jobs over 1 million. So, Director Mayorkas, do you want to grow our economy, increase our tax revenue, increase your legal and filing fees? Well, let's make sure that we're not restricting high-skilled immigration and that we're not creating talent gaps in this war on human capital. So, Syed, thank you for sharing that. That's pretty cool information. Hey, VR, no problem. Glad to be able to help you, and hopefully that information, helps you. So it says, hey, Robert, talking about porting PD from EB2 to EB3. I don't see my PD get ported to EB2. My attorney says USCIS can review it at the time of filing. Any thought on that? Yeah, I think that they can include both your EB2 and EB3 approvals as part of that. This is one of those weird little nuances here, and getting that date ported over when you change employers or when you downgrade or upgrade. It's a really interesting nuance, but I have heard of individuals that have submitted both, and the EB3 was actually adjudicated before the EB2. So rare instance here. Syed, I hope this works itself out. Again, this is one of those situations where, my legal advice, which is non-legal, is to make sure that you work with an immigration attorney that you know and trust, and one that's going to give you very sound and solid advice, because at the end of the day, they're your legal representation. Everything that I talk about here is an opinion, non-legal advice, solely for your own personal interest and entertainment purposes. And I say that just because a lot of this are just assumptions, hunches, things that I know based on my own personal experience and years of working with high-skilled immigrants like you. So, Syed, keep me posted on that. I'm really curious to see, how it plays out. But like I said, I know an individual pretty recently that did both, and the EB3 was adjudicated first. I just wanted to ask you again, like this video, subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube, click the bell for notifications so that you're notified anytime we go live like I have here today. If you're looking for ways to support the H1B Guy platform, you can do so through the Super Chat. If you're watching this at a future date, you can do so through buymeacoffee.com/the H1B Guy. Your support just by showing up and questions, comments here in the live stream, subscribing to the H1B Guy channel, following me on Twitter, all of those are ways that you can help support the platform and help me bring more awareness to employment-based immigration benefits. Hey, Imran. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me here this afternoon. Sir, my case is already approved from USCIS. Can I withdraw at this stage because I'm already awaiting for H1B interview over 1 year? I'm assuming that you are currently located in India. Uh, the thing is, Imran, that I'll tell you. Oh no, looks like maybe Algeria flag. I'm sorry, don't know exactly where you're from, Imran, but would love to know because that'll help me answer this question a little bit. But if you can't get a consulate appointment interview to get your visa stamp to enter into the country, I would keep your H1B open and continue to do so until appointments do become available. Because ultimately, as long as your employer has the need, they're willing to provide the appropriate evidence for you through your consular appointment. I'd keep the H1 open because really you don't lose any time while you're outside of the US. So what you have to think about is once you go through that consulate appointment, get your stamping, the day you set foot in the US on US soil, literally like cross over the threshold, the door jam of the airplane, that's when your clock starts ticking as it relates to the I-94 and the H1B tracking in terms of days used. Okay, so I hope that helps. My advice is I wouldn't withdraw it. I'd keep it valid. I'd wait till you can get an appointment. Once you get an appointment, get a stamp. Once you got your stamp, get your plane ticket, and then that H1B time will start. So thank you, Imran, for jumping in here today. Really appreciate it. Hey, any chance of RRH ask any chance of passing any immigration related reform before the end of the fiscal year? I sure hope so, but it doesn't feel like it, does it? And the reason why I say that is because we're going into an election year next year. And so a lot of times what's going to happen is you're just not going to see more controversial reform like immigration reform, specifically clearing the green card backlog and reform around H1B visas and high skilled immigrants as a whole be passed in years leading into the election year. Or really, if it's going to get done, it's going to have to be this year because next year makes it even more controversial. My guess is that we're going to see some debate. We could potentially see a vote of approval in the House, and the pressure is going to be on your state senators. We'll see what they're willing to do. It's going to be real interesting because I think you've seen this growing sentiment in the House to make this kind of reform. But what we've seen is really on the Republican side, while they have their H1B reform in the sense of increased investigations, whistleblower, the 50-50 rule, there still seems to be a hesitation there in the way that the 10-year time frame has been mapped out for clearing the green card backlog. But what it will take is a senator like Senator Mike Lee to be a sponsor and potentially a co-sponsor in a bipartisan effort to get this text and legislation on the Senate floor and debated, and let's really see if there can be a majority vote on it. So thanks, RRH. Appreciate you joining in. Kachai asked, hey, Rob, if EB2 to EB3 downgrade is pending, I-140 not approved yet, no premium processing yet, can we still get the EAD combo card? So I'm assuming that if you've already filed your adjustment of status, let me get this next question. Also, if priority date becomes current and the downgrade I-140 is still not approved, for example, what happens to the GC? Okay. So you're in EB2, looking to downgrade to EB3. Again, you can have both simultaneously, but in order to get the EAD combo card here is employment authorization document with advanced parole. Gives you freedom of travel, freedom to choose your employer. That generally, I believe, comes after that 180-day pending adjustment of status. So what you need to get is your I-140 approved. I'm going to assume that As you say, if priority date becomes current and the downgrade to I-140 is still not approved, for example, what happens to GC? Are you hesitant on the upgrade to premium, kind of based on some of the denials that are happening? I've also seen where there's been denials, they've been refiled in premium and then approved. So this is one of those very interesting, situations. To be honest with you here. I guess my question to you here is, what are your thoughts on premium, and is your attorney advising you against it? Would be my question to you. So I'm gonna wait for you. If you can throw that in the chat, let me know, and then I think that's correct. Attorneys advising you against the premium. Yeah. Seems to be a common theme because of the rejection notifications. This is where, here's my advice to you. Okay. I'm going to give you a recommendation here versus answer your question. And then I'd love for you, you can follow up with me, the H1B Guy at gmail.com, and I can help you further if you would like me to, which is, I think, Fortune 50 law firm does not do premium and refiling via premium. If it gets denied against, that may not even be an option. Yeah. Even if you're willing to pay for it, that'd be my question. You have the right to request premium processing as the employee, as long as you're willing to pay for it. I mean, I don't want to advise you to push the envelope here, because you do premium, it gets denied, and then they're not going to refile. Woo, you're in a bad place, right? I think this may be one where you just got to sit here patiently and you're at the mercy of the processing. Probably not the answer you want, but probably the answer you were expecting. I think if you want to push it, you can go back and say, I want to request it to be upgraded. Yeah, you offered. Okay. You're in a tough spot here. There's a lot of folks, as I alluded to earlier, like I know folks that have done the biometrics and haven't heard anything, which really is crazy, right? That generally is a sign that things are about to really start moving for you. But yeah, I know I don't have the right answer for you, unfortunately, and it's just one of these situations where the downgrades that have happened, because everyone saw the dates, the flooding that's happened, 38 to 50,000 downgrades, the amount of I-140s that have to be reviewed and adjudicated. I don't believe the EAD, well, I guess that's a matter of your EB2, right? Yeah, that'd be a matter of your EB2 then, if it's going to be processed regardless of if the I-140 is approved or not. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think my best advice to you is you may want to just sit tight for the next month and see what happens with July and August. And then if you're still pending, maybe then you take that shot with the premium after the September Bulletin posts, or excuse me, so we're going to see July here coming up, and then you'll see August in July. So you'll know what August is going to look like. So maybe you wait till somewhere around the end of July, see what August dates look like, because that's going to give you some pretty extensive insight, and that also is going to give you about another 45 to 60 days for them to hopefully process and catch up. Again, if you want to talk about this more offline, feel free to reach out to me. This is a situation that's not uncommon. Yeah, I mean, you're July 13, right? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking anywhere between January to July 2013 for dates of filing for EB2 and in October of 2021. Oh, Imran, you're from Pakistan. Yeah. So listen, my advice to you, Imran, is hold on to that H1B until you can get an appointment. Hopefully we're into the thawing. I mean, people are traveling to Europe now, and we're beginning to see international travel pick up here. So just sit tight. Hopefully you can get yourself a consulate appointment sometime in the next 6 months. And I would plan, if I'm you, I'm going to plan on early mid 2022 before you're going to enter into the US. If it's before that, then you've won. But in your mind right now, you need to start thinking about probably beginning to early 2022. I have to think that U.S. consulates globally around the world have to get open. They have to begin processing cases like yours. So good luck, man. Wish you nothing but the best in that. Hi, H1B guy. Mine is EB2 2012 November. Can we expect final action date? My last question you read is 2013. Oh, I'm sorry. VR, my apologies. Yeah, listen, I mean, if we get July 1st of 2011, sometime here in the next week for this July bulletin, we're creeping up, right? I mean, you're talking about what? It's August. I think dates of filing were August 1st, 2011, on the last couple of bulletins. So yeah, you're in the sweet spot here, VR. I really believe that you're right in the sweet spot. The next couple of months are going to be very telling for you. You've waited a long time. I know you've been patient. I know you're anxious, but I think July is going to give you some really good insight, and then August is going to give you even better. And you may even have a chance in August to say, "Wow, now I'm down to single digits in terms of months remaining for this aggressive movement that we've seen before your current." I hope that answers the question. Sorry, didn't mean to make the mistake. Hey, Suvi, how are you? Can we file H1B extension after our priority date is current and I-145 has been filed? I'm hearing USCIS won't allow extensions of H1B beyond the 6-year limit of H1B. Thanks. Yeah, this actually has come up because ultimately what happens is once your I-45 is filed, you're in the adjustment of status phase, okay? And this is where, once that adjustment of status has been pending for 180 days, that's where that EAD with AP comes into play. Okay, and that was some of the policy updates that came out towards the end of last week. This is where I always advise, like, if you are thinking that, hey, my H1B is going to expire, sometime in the next year or so, and I think my priority date is going to become current, you generally, when we look at H1B extensions, amendments, material changes that need to be filed, those generally can be prepared and submitted, about 90 days in advance. Is about the earliest. Maybe it's 60. But that's where getting that H1B extension filed and even submitting that and paying for the premium processing to get the case adjudicated back faster, and having that H1B while your AOS is pending is key, because you can maintain that H1B status. But once your H1B expires and your AOS has been pending for 180 days, you're automatically going to change to that EAD with AP. So, Suvi, I hope that helps answer your question. Oh, sorry to bring that one up. I already covered that. Hey, Pratibha, how are you? What's your prediction for any EB3 dates of filing for October 2021? Yeah, as I said earlier, I think that we could see late 2015, so like December 2015 into mid-late 2016. I know that's a broad range, but I think, probably anywhere between December 2015 to like June or July 2016 right now. I'll have a better idea around that going forward once, July, August bulletins come out, and hopefully in September we can have a lot of conversations around what that's going to look like. But yeah, right now, if you just to give you like a 6-month range, December 2015 to like June of 2016, it may actually be July. So there's a 7-month range there. Hey, VR, glad to help you. Appreciate your questions and interaction. So Suvi has a follow-up. I'm wondering if H-1B expires and I don't get my EAD by then, what happens? Well, you'd be in this weird little gray area, right? Where you have an AOS that's pending, which I believe supersedes. I don't think you would go out of status. But I don't know that 100%. I believe that a lot of it comes down to how long has your adjustment of status been pending, and if it's that 180-day mark, then you should be good. But yeah, there was another individual that was asking me questions around kind of the same thing in terms of what should they do. And my advice is try to get that H1B extension submitted before your date comes current and before your adjustment of status is filed, and do that H1B extension and premium processing so that you can get that adjudication approval rate back a whole lot faster. I hope that helps, Suvi. Really appreciate you jumping in the stream here today. Hey, Jajati, how are you? Can I file my green card and EB1C being an H1B holder, considering I meet all of the criteria? Yeah, so let me pull that up real quick. We can talk about the criteria. Which pretty straightforward, okay? And it basically, EB1C, for those of you who don't know, and I did a video out there that's posted on YouTube called EB1C, What You Need to Know. But EB1C is for certain multinational manager or executives, and it basically means your petitioning employer must be a U.S. employer and intend to employ you in a managerial or executive capacity. The petitioner must have been doing business in the U.S. for at least 1 year as a legal entity with a qualifying relationship to the entity that employed you abroad in a managerial or executive capacity. So let's just go over that again. The petitioner must have been doing business in the U.S. for at least 1 year as a legal entity with a qualifying relationship to the entity, meaning the international company that you work for, potentially in India, okay? And you must have worked in a managerial or executive capacity, okay? So as part of the process, your employer must demonstrate a continuing ability to pay you. Your employer must use annual reports as well as other documented evidence to verify they can pay you the correct wage. So listen, EB1C is a great opportunity for managerial executives that have been a managerial executive for at least a year outside of the U.S. and have come here. But Jajati, I don't know if you've checked out that video or not. It's also on my website. You can just go EB1C, What You Need to Know, on the H1Bguy.com. And I have a good amount of content here around EB1C. But yeah, an H1B can file an EB1C as long as you meet the criteria, which is executive managerial. And you have to have been in that role for at least a year abroad. So internationally speaking, you would have to have served as a manager or executive outside of the U.S. Hey, Sunil, how are you? Thanks for jumping in this afternoon. I applied for I-140 premium processing for the downgrade. I got a notification for notice explaining USCIS actions were mailed. What are the options if I-140 petition is denied? I've seen in individuals and instances that were refiled and then refiled in premium and approved. So hopefully you just left a box blank or your attorney forgot to check a box, or your employer forgot to check a box. Um, the this seems to be pretty common though right now, these denials on the I-140 premium for the downgrades, and a lot of it has to come to an incomplete application. So what I would do is I'd work with your immigration attorney to look at refiling and what needs to be done to refile to correct the I-140 filing. I hope that helps, Sunil. I hate that you're going through this. If it is a denial, I'm here to help you or advise you in any way. Just let me know. I hope that helps. Hey, Daily Quran, how are you? Can you define what documentarily qualified I-145 package, such as package can be assigned a GC visa number before September 30th, 2021, and then the same I-145 be approved next fiscal year? Yeah, this goes back to what Charlie was saying, that they start to count the numbers based on the month that the final action date comes current, so that it would be counted in this fiscal year, but actually approved next year, if that makes sense. It's a little confusing, but I think it's just kind of the way that they move the numbers around whenever we're talking about spillovers. So absolutely, Jajadi, no problem. I hope that helps, man. Check out that video and read that article if you haven't. And if you have any other questions, you can message me around it. It's a good avenue for managerial executives. I know several folks that have successfully gone through it because it doesn't require LCA, and there's a few other sort of stipulations, workarounds within it. And again, all EB1 dates are current for all of the world, India, China, and rest of the world. So great avenue. Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone again. If you haven't liked this video, subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube. If you're looking for ways as we wrap up here to support the H1B Guy, you can do so through the super chat function currently on this live stream. We're going to be wrapping up here in a couple of minutes. If you're watching this at a future date, you can support the H1B Guy platform through buymeacoffee.com/the H1B Guy. Just wanted to say that any contributions that you make here through the super chat or through the Buy Me a Coffee, it doesn't go into my pocket. It goes back into the H1B Guy platform and investing here in the technology that I use to create this content for all of you. As I said today, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of registering the H1B Guy LLC, creating the H1B Guy Twitter and the H1B Guy YouTube channel. But June 29th, look for something special. We'll celebrate the 1-year anniversary here in a live stream with all of you for the H1B Guy. So let's see. Last question here from a couple of last questions. Hey, can we expedite I-145 EAD if EAD does not get approved before H1B expires, and I never get a chance to apply the H1B extension since my PD got current before that? Yeah, this would definitely be a situation where you may want to request expedited processing. Again, this, not to deflect the question, but it goes back to what's your immigration attorney saying for you. They're very well aware of your H1B status, right? So my advice is I would make sure that they are advising you accordingly here on requesting the expedited processing. General rule of thumb for me, if I can avoid requesting the expedited processing, I'm going to. I always feel like those cases are processed with a microscope. So just be careful and good luck, Suvi. Hope it works out for you. Let's say my employer files my GC and EB1C and it got rejected. Still, my current GC will be valid with EB2. Correct. As long as you already have an approved EB2 I-140, that you still hold that. You can hold those concurrently. At least that's my understanding. Hey, Sridhar. Hello, Robert. This question may have already been asked, but what's your predictions for EB2 final action dates for October 2021? Yeah, I'll just real quick again. As I've been saying, I'm thinking, anywhere between December 2012, January 2013 really is where I'm at. So January 2013 to July 2013 are my thoughts on India EB2 right now. I think July and August, goes without saying, are going to give us a lot more insight into that. Because are we going to see 3 months, 5 months, 8 months aggressive movement? And that'll really influence what October is going to look like. But I'm going to come back to, but you're asking for final action dates for October 2021, not dates of filing. So I would say that that I expect it to equal what the current dates of filing are right now, which is at least August 1st, 2011. And if we do see some movement for dates of filing over the next couple of months, I expect that to equal. And the reason why I'm saying that is I fully expect what Charlie is saying to be the truth, which is final action dates will equal dates of filing for the October 2021 visa bulletin. So, wow, a lot of great questions, guys and girls. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I just really appreciate you all taking time out of your lunch break to join me. I did want to mention one last time the H1B survey for my friend Dr. Nina Gopalan, the associate professor and associate director for the Banta Center for Ethical and Purposeful Leadership School of Business at the University of Redlands. We have over 500 participants that have completed in this survey, with 250 that fully completed it. Okay, so 500 participants, 250 that have fully completed it. You have until the end of this week to participate or complete the survey if you already started it. I know it's exhaustive and long, but honestly, this is an opportunity for you to provide a lot of real-time data that we can help utilize to bring more awareness to the plight and life of high-skilled immigrants living and working in the U.S. So in the description of this video is a link to that. If you follow me on Twitter, I've shared it a few times. Dr. Nina is just such a sweetheart. So please make sure that if you can take 15 minutes out of your day to day, complete that survey, because it's going to be up through the end of this week. Jajadi, Sridhar, Suvi, my pleasure. Just really appreciate all of you guys jumping in. VR, absolutely. Just thank you guys for jumping in. I love doing these live streams. I know some of you like Kacha up there. I didn't really answer your question, man, and I'm sorry. I wish I had an answer for you, but your situation's just so complex, and you're in this very weird little gap that now we're seeing it become a lot more prevalent because of the way the dates have moved forward, and because of the way H-1Bs are operating in the extensions and the expirations around those. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here today. I just wanted to let everyone know that today's live stream was brought to you by RecruiterNetworks.com, the smart solution for digital perm ads on local job board postings since 2001. This national job board network provides recruitment websites in 1,024 major U.S. metro areas. Each local job board is its own portal and is a low-cost resource for immigration recruitment ads for all industries and professions, with a flat price of $225 per ad, regardless of which city you choose. RecruiterNetworks.com has been the #1 place for immigration attorneys, immigration ad agencies, and employers to meet the DOL requirements for the digital portion of the perm advertisement rules. Go tell my friend Richard Ullman at RecruiterNetworks.com that the H1B guy sent you. I wanted to also mention that they have a flat monthly pricing of $1,000 per month, unlimited. And if you are an employer who is out there and has some of these hiring needs, where we're seeing that candidate talent is in such demand right now, go contact Richard Ullman and tell him I sent you. And today's stream is also brought to you by Path to Canada. Path to Canada provides an ideal plan B for high-skilled immigrants currently located in the U.S. whose status may be uncertain. If you're facing an H-1B denial or OPT expiration, don't get caught off guard. Make sure you have a plan B, and Path to Canada is your answer. They will help you navigate the process. And if you're interested in finding out more, please be sure to click the link in the video description below as well. So, wrapping up, just wanted to say thank you to everyone who took the time here to join me in the live stream. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube, and click the bell for notifications. so that you're notified anytime we go live, like I did here today at 1 p.m. Eastern, or when I post new content here to this channel. Be on the lookout for a follow-up for me. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get that posted. Just a quick update on a second lottery part 2 for USCIS, and of course the H1B Guy news for the week ending June 18th, 2021. If you've made it this far, thank you for taking the time to join me here on my live stream, or if you're watching this in the future, thanks for making it all the way to the end. I'm Robert, the H1B Guy, your global source for all things H1B.